Hello, it's the old bear and the
Susie.
beautiful Mrs. Bear.
Oh, he's so sweet.
Uh, we're going to start just a little early tonight. I know it's 5 minutes till 8, and what I was, of course, my wife's going to be doing all the question things. And if you have comments or questions, please put it in all caps, and that way she can pick up on it quick and answer. I can answer your questions. Um, the reason we're doing this video, I was watching uh, some other channels today of Bigfoot investigators, and I was seeing some no-nos in my book. Um, when they were doing investigations, they were uh, answering, and they were doing things that I believe you shouldn't do. Now, this is my opinion, and I understand everybody has an opinion, and I don't fault anyone for doing anything. And so tonight we want to just come to you and give a little advice. Of course, I'm going to have Mrs. Bear interacting, and we're glad to have each and every one of you here. And we hope you enjoy this live. It's an impromptu thing. I just thought of it 3 hours ago, and my wife graciously decided to help me. I have to twist fingers and everything to get her to do anything. And if y'all believe that, then I got a piece of property in Arizona that's oceanfront property that you can buy. Uh, I want to say hello to everybody. Glad to see you, Bill. Uh, Johnny. Who else we got in here tonight? Judy. We're doing fine. No problem. Um, W. Lathis, glad to have you. All right, glad to have you also. And whoever else is here, uh, we're glad to have each and every one of you. Uh, Tonight, I want to start off by having my wife ask questions about things that I've done in the past, like answering Bigfoot. Um, there's many different ways you can get a Bigfoot's attention. Just being there, they're going to know you're there. First off, they're going to smell you. They're going to hear you coming in, walking in. Wherever you go, you're going to make noise. Especially if you go at night, you're going to make noise. They're going to hear you. Now, if they're the type that doesn't carry you there, you can probably get them to respond to you quickly, and they may come in and look and see, what you're up to. But then there is the types that, well, they're kind of standoffish and they want to see what you're all about. But if you go in an area and you don't know where they are, you have no clue where they are, you have to find a way to get their attention, either to get them to come to you or to let you come closer to them. And our cat has joined us, and my wife's phone's going off. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
But it's no big deal.
It's a bad boy.
Well, I understand. um, so, Mrs. She's having a little difficulties with her phone.
Mm.
She's like me. She's not technologically advanced.
I can't keep up with all the hellos. I'm just gonna put
And
honey.
since it being Christmas time, we figured we would do a live here in front of our Christmas tree. It's not fully decorated yet. We're still working on it. Um, our grandkids had it done, and we didn't think they had enough lights on, so we kind of redid it. But I think there's enough lights now.
Mhm.
So I hope y'all enjoy this. So Mrs. Bear, what would be the first question? You're a brand new investigator into Bigfoot. You've seen one. Now you're interested in finding out what you can about them. What's the first thing you would like to know?
What does it mean when they do a tree knock?
Well, tree knocks are kind of like they can be alarms to notify the other clan members that you're there. They can also be a way to communicate what the alpha male um, is wanting done because humans are around or there's another clan around, and here I am not going to stand around. Anyway, um,
Okay.
it's a communication device for them to be able to, over a long distance, to communicate either trouble or to communicate what you should do about, you know, the trouble. And that's basically what tree knocks are. Um, if it's trouble with another clan or if it's trouble with humans, one knock is an alert. If you get two knocks and they're spaced out, they typically are saying, hey, you might want to go to the safe place we have where it's been designated and take care of the young ones, protect them. The females will go and protect them, and then the males are to come to stand their ground. And if it's three, that means the alpha needs the males to come to him because there's trouble, and the females that are not protecting the young, that's there to come too. I mean, it's a clan thing. It could be a war between two clans that you get three knocks, and they're going to be spaced out. They're not going to be wham wham wham. Three, 4, 5 knocks at a time.
Wow.
So, um, next thing,
Next thing is
we're waiting on her.
no. Um. See, because I've learned a lot.
I understand that.
So, um, I'm coming at a blade, drawing a blade. How's about?
Why don't you go with something about uh,
Whoops.
whoops?
Yeah, yeah. Do they do different types of whoops for different things?
Well, all Bigfoot can do a whoop. It's normally when you hear a high pitched whoop, it's females. They're either saying, "Hey, I'm here," or "Hey, what do I need to do?" They're asking what, or yeah. So that's the thing that uh, a lot of people have trouble with when it comes to whoops. If it's a high pitched whoop, it's for communication of saying, "Hey, I'm here. What's going on?" And so the females will do that because they're not like the males. They don't have a specific job. Their job is to protect the young and to gather roots and forbs, and that's what their job is. And when it comes to a male doing a whoop, they're usually they're not high pitched or low pitched, and they pay attention to what the note is. If it's up here, it's a female. She's wanting to know what's going on, what should I do, where should I go. It's always a question with a female, and they'll get a response from the male, the big alpha male in the clan, because he directs everybody in the clan what to do. And then when it's a male, it's saying, "Hey, I'm here." Uh, it's also says, because they don't have a lot of language unless they're up close to each other. They have to go with whoops, and they have to go with growls and screams, things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Nancy wants to know, why do they not whistle in the woods?
Why do they not whistle, or why do they whistle in the woods? Well, Nancy, the reason they whistle when they're in the woods or something, they're whistling typically not at each other. Most Bigfoot clans, except for a very few that are in Kentucky, the ones that have the green eyes in Kentucky, they don't typically whistle. They'll whistle to get your attention, to get you to do something. That's why they whistle. It's not for anything in the clan unless the big male's whistling at his female, and then you know what that's for. He's saying, "Hey, you're awful hot."
Hey,
That's
I read
all I
that
can hear.
question the wrong way. I misunderstood it. Why do they say not to whistle in the woods?
Because you're drawing attention to yourself.
Mhm.
That's why you don't whistle in the woods. Bigfoot will come and check you out, and if it's the wrong type of Bigfoot, you're dinner.
And Judy wants to know, how do Bigfoot protect their territory?
The alpha male is the protector of the territory. That's what I've seen from three clans that I researched. The alpha male was always the one that came up and said, would scream at me from 50 yards, 60 yards away, and say, "Hey, stupid, you're in my place. Get out of here." But when it's another Bigfoot clan, the alpha males will, if there's a beef between two clans, the alpha male takes care of it. And then the other males are surrounding. If it's an intrusion from another clan, it's the alpha male that steps up. It doesn't make a difference if it's uh, a different type of Bigfoot. They all it's the two alpha males that'll get together and they'll fight. If there's a contention over the area, and they're interceding on each other, they're having boundary wars or whatever, it's the alpha males that go and settle it. And if it gets too bad, then the rest of the males get into the fight with the other males from the other clan, and that's the way it goes. And it's not a battle to the death. Typically, if it's just over territory, it's not a battle to death. It's to whoever bows out and runs off. Uh, and usually that's between the two males. That's why there's people that they hear loud noises in the woods and a fight going on, and they go walking in, and the fights don't usually last very long, maybe a minute or 2 minutes at the most. And it starts off typically with them pushing each other. Because if they start going to blows right off the bat, somebody's going to get hurt. And when that happens, then you have trouble with, you know, unable to perform their duties in the clan. And when that happens, there has to be someone to take care. One of the females take care of them, and stuff like it happens all the time. Rock clacking is not equivalent to tree knocks. Rock clacking is solely a close in action saying, we are here. We do not want you here. We are warning you. A rock clack is not something you can hear from a long distance. And when they take rocks and smack them together, usually the rocks end up being little rocks. It just depends upon the amount of aggression that they have in that clan. And it's you got to be careful. When you start hearing rock clacks, they're saying you need to leave. The best thing to do is leave. Go out the way you came in. They'll leave you a way out. Find the way out and get out. So you have something else?
Yes, I do. I want to know just how many different types of screams. I want to know about the one that sounds like a baby.
They're not a bait. They don't do a scream that sounds like a baby.
Or a woman screaming.
The one that sounds like a woman screaming, that is a warning to you. They're warning you are too close. They are telling you that you're about to be attacked. Now, it could range from rocks being thrown at you, tree being shoved over on you. It could be a tree limb thrown at you. If they're screaming at you like a woman, that's typically a last ditch effort by them to get you to leave. It's meant to scare the living crap out of you, and that's typically what it does. Hey, Randy, I was just down in your neck of the woods. I was just down in Alabama last Sunday and Monday, this past Sunday and Monday.
Okay, so we've determined that the screams that sound like a woman screaming are their last warning.
Yes.
To get out. So yes. What's their first warning?
If they're aggressive towards you and they want you gone, they will do a scream that my wife has coined and my friend has coined as the constipated hillbilly. It's a very loud, it's a challenge to any male Bigfoot in the area. It starts off low and it goes not high, but it gets loud. It's nothing but a challenge to their malehood, not their manhood, because they're not men. It's in other words, it's just they're cussing you out when they do that. They're telling you that you're a piece of trash, but using cuss words, and that's not. Whenever they do that one, I've done it on some videos, and if you go back and watch the one from like the scream that I did when we done the thing in Tennessee, the event we did down in Tennessee. When I done that howl, that was a howl of not in the magnitude that it should be done, but it was a threat to any Bigfoot in the area, basically. Linda, you're not late. You're on time. Whatever time you get here, you're on time. Never worry about that. But if if you hear that type of a scream that starts out low and then gets higher and then goes back low and ends up in a growl or uh, oh, run. What does a snapped over tree mean? Is it like a marker for their boundary? A snapped over tree, something that's broke. They're showing their strength, and it's a marker for other Bigfoot to be warned not to. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry, I had something come up on my phone. Need to get rid of it. It's a marker for territory, and it shows strength. No matter the size of it, if you look at a tree that's a small tree that's broke over, you'll find it's the same way as a larger tree. And a lot of these trees that you find that are broke over, like near the ground or something, you'll the young ones will do it too. They want to imitate their daddy. The males are typically ones that break trees over, and if it's a young male, he's want to imitate his father. Staying healthy. What is a Bigfoot? Huh? Bigfoot is a creature that is 8 foot tall, hair covered, and has a bad attitude if you tick it off. That's why we're here tonight. We're trying to make sure people go out and do investigations looking for Bigfoot. Don't go in and tick one off. So pretty much what we've told you so far is when it comes to whoops, they have different meanings. It just depends on the situation. If you're hearing whoops and you've not heard anything at all, it's because they're showing a warning. They're letting everybody, the Bigfoot in the area, know that they've come upon a human in the woods and they don't want you to interact, don't want to run into them. Bigfoot is a creature that um, they eat meat. There has not been a vegetarian Bigfoot as far as I've known in my entire life. Every Bigfoot will eat meat, and they they eat forbs, roots, uh, fruit that's wild, berries that are wild, and they eat to survive. They have a hierarchy, and it's the alpha male is the boss. That means the big male is the boss, and if you upset him, he's not very nice. So, what's your next question?
My next question, Timothy asks, do you think there is a connection between UFOs and Bigfoot?
I've never, in 39 years of knowing about Bigfoot and 35 years of investigating Bigfoot, I have never seen a UFO around when I've ran into Bigfoot. Um, yeah, I guess there's UFOs. I mean, the government, I've never seen one. Uh, I've never run into little green Martian men or any other planet in the whole solar system, or in the whole universe, I should say, not the solar system. Uh, so it's things that like that extraterrestrial interaction with Bigfoot. I think because it's on this planet, if there are any kind of an interaction, it's they're trying to figure out what Bigfoot are, if they're human or if they're something else. And if there is a UFO in the area, I don't see any connection between them. I don't think they fly on spaceships out into the void. They're not from another planet. because they have human DNA, and that's been proven. They have the female human DNA in them. So,
Okay. Randy asks, do you think when people come up missing, the government covers it up and Bigfoot's the guilty party?
Randy, yeah, there is a, I don't know how many people they say go missing every year, 100,000, something like that, in the national forests and in state forests every year. People go missing all the time. Now, a percentage of that is because of them making mistakes, falling off cliffs, uh, falling on, getting hurt, unable to get out, and passing away. I would say 50 to 60, maybe even 70% of that is, uh, human error. But then you still have that 30 or 40% that is caused by other means. You have normal animals that will kill people, like mountain lions, bears. Uh, there's so much in the wild that can kill you. A white-tailed deer can kill you if you do something and you have a certain odor. A male buck will come up and think you're a white-tailed deer, and then when it finds out different, it just happens. Um, but when it comes to Bigfoot, Bigfoot has a lot. They might be responsible for 10 to 15% of the people that go missing every year. And whenever that happens, the government does cover it up because they don't keep a list. That's the reason it's plausible deniability. If there's no list, it's plausible. We don't know nothing about it. We don't know nothing about Bigfoot, and we don't know nothing about Dogman. We don't know nothing about a shapeshifter like a Wendigo. We don't know nothing about what's that one that wears the horns, babe?
Sheep squatch? No.
No,
Wait a minute, Wendigo.
the Wendigo. There's so
Sorry.
many cryptids that the government doesn't know about, but they do, and that stuff's happened.
Looks like we missed a question.
Yeah. What about Dogman? Dogman it's in that percentage with cryptids. Uh, there's 15-20% that cryptids are responsible for. And usually when they go missing, you don't find anything of them. Those are the cases you got to worry about because that means there is a cryptid out there that has killed a human and has either eaten the body and then disposed of whatever's left, or it's taken that person for a reason. Nancy, what did we miss? Nancy McDonald. She said we had a question.
Yeah, y'all missed a question. And it looked like I thought I saw a question. Now I can't find it.
Nancy, repost your question, please. My wife doesn't always look down and see questions. What's Barry got there?
If Bigfoot was solely to blame for the disappearances, Mississippi and Louisiana would have clusters, and they don't. Just my opinion.
Well, yeah. Bigfoot is not the sole one out there.
Nancy,
No,
what's your
Barry. You're right. They're not solely to blame. There's a lot of different cryptids out there that people have seen over the years, things they've dealt with, and it's not only Bigfoot out there, guys. You got all these other creatures. I've looked for 35 years and chased these creatures around the woods, and that's what I've dealt with. I don't deal with the other ones because if they're in an area, I don't want to deal with them, especially Wendigo or uh, Heck, I don't even like dealing with dogmen. They just. Has
Oh,
anyone followed me home? Yes. Um, when I lived in Ohio, um, I was staying in an area called Reynoldsburg, and it's outside the city of Columbus. And I did an investigation not too far from there, probably about 15 miles. And there were reports that came in that there was a hairy man running around some of the neighborhoods in the area of Reynoldsburg, just outside the small town of Reynoldsburg, which is right next door to Columbus, Ohio. So they're not afraid to come into where there's homes. Um, so back to the thing of the screams and uh, things you should watch out for. Um, it and talking about the one big scream that most big males do, like the Ohio Howl, that was a warning. That was a warning for um, Mr. Moneymaker, and he never. And I think that he understood it, but you never know. Um, so go ahead, Mrs. Bear.
okay. So when you, let's say, just go out for a walk in the woods and you are female,
Mm-hmm.
should you wear perfume?
No, and if you and here's the reasoning behind that. Perfumes today are flower based. They're not like they used to be. They're not a musk. The musk smells that women wear or men wear are an attractant, and the musk is a representation of. Let me put it to you this way: if you're deer hunting and you're wearing a musk, what happens? The male whitetail will smell that, and if it's the right type of musk, they have a reaction. They will follow it until they find it. Now, if a whitetail can do that, Bigfoot can do it 10 times fold, 10 times better, actually. And so that's the thing. Just leave it right there. And that that leads to issues of if it's a female, you might be having a date. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but that's where we're at. Um,
Julie asked, have you ever had mind speak?
no, I don't believe in mind speak. I've never had a Bigfoot mind speak to me. Uh, I've been close to them as 20 feet, and you can understand completely what they mean by their body language and their the growls or their grunts or whatever. And I've been as far away as 200 or 300 yards and been able to see Bigfoot walk across the field and scream at them, and they turn and look right directly at you. It's not mind speak. If you're hearing something, it's your subconscious telling you what you need to do to get the heck out of Dodge, not to go over and feed them. Don't do any of that at any point in time. Uh, uh, so it's a lot of trouble for you. Just don't go if you start hearing mind speak. It's your own mind doing things, telling you that you need to leave, or or giving you ideas on how to deal with what you're seeing. It has nothing to do with a Bigfoot talking to you. They don't have that.
Prospecting USA, what do the structures mean?
Structures, well, they have a bunch of different meanings. When you see small structures, it's usually the young ones doing it to imitate their parents. The big structures are points of interest to Bigfoot: food, water, shelter. Um, it tells them about their territory, and it tells other Bigfoot there's a Bigfoot clan here. There's a family unit here. It tells them that they're probably going to need to leave. So that's what structures are for. They're warning signs. They're like billboards to humans. Hey, Joe's is over here and they got barbecue. It's the same thing for Bigfoot in a clan. Every clan makes different structures. They make them differently because it signifies to the clan what it means, not to other clans. It's to show strength and knowledge to other clans. They have their own meaning. It can be close because there might be clans might be related. And Julie, yes, I have experienced a Bigfoot stink. It's not a smell; it's a stink. Plain and simple. A lot of times I have not. I've been up close to them. The first one I saw never had a bad odor, and the wind was blowing from it to me. Uh, it never stunk. I never had the smell for the first 10 years. Um, I ran into a Bigfoot and got too close to a big male and too close to his clan, and that's when I got hit with that stink. It's a warning. It's their warning system, and they're agitated at that point. And that's the reason you'll smell the smell. They're agitated with you. They don't like what you're doing.
My, I've got a question.
Okay,
It's might be a little far fetched, but I'm
go
going
right
to ask
ahead.
it anyway. Have you ever seen, or do you know of a Bigfoot wearing clothes of any sort?
Well, that's not a far fetched question, my dear. I have taken reports of Bigfoot, not the big ones, but young juveniles actually wearing a pair of blue jean coveralls, not coveralls, but bib overalls.
But that was
And I followed up on that, and lo and behold, there was a Bigfoot wearing blue jean overalls that were ripped all to hell, but
they were.
he had them on.
Wow.
So yeah, they get funny. They like making. There's always a Bigfoot that's a court jester in a clan. They'll do something to get a reaction from the other Bigfoot, like laughing at them because they did something stupid or ignorant or and the top off on that one male that was wearing the bibs, he had a blade of grass stuck in his mouth. And I'm not talking a little piece. I'm talking one of those big, long, uh, yellow ones that's got the little fluffies on the end. He had it stuck in his mouth when I seen this creature, and it was a sight to see. It was. I did everything I could to keep from laughing out loud because I didn't want to cause this clan to run off, and I tried my best. What's up, Drake? Glad to see you, bro. Um, but yeah, there's been reports of Bigfoot wearing clothes, dresses, overalls, shirts, um,
Hats.
I don't think I've ever taken report of a Bigfoot having a hat on, but I'm sure it's probably happened. I mean, they find us interesting, and we're interesting in things we do and things we wear. They find it interesting. I don't think they use clothes like we do to stay warm, but they do it to get a reaction. That's what they do.
And they like
Yeah,
shiny things?
wheatgrass. Johnny, you knew what I was talking about. Thank you, buddy.
They like shiny things?
The young ones do. The males don't too much, and the females do because most females like shiny stuff, whether you're human or Bigfoot. Um, so yeah, there's been reports of female Bigfoot that have had shiny things, stuck
Right.
around their neck or on a necklace or something that they've made or whatever. There's reports of Bigfoot doing some of the silliest things, but those are typically your human type clans that,
Hobbies.
yeah.
That's cool.
Uh, any food smell? Go out and barbecue in the middle of the woods. Make hamburgers, hot dogs. The typical stuff that human beings eat when they're out. You go to a state forest. Uh, and this is an account that a guy gave me. His family had a get together, and they were here in Kanawha State Forest at the upper end of Kanawha State Forest at one of the uh, uh, little picnic areas. And they were up there late on a summer evening, and they had a Bigfoot come down because they were fixing hamburgers, hot dogs, and steaks on a grill, the outside grill at the picnic area. And it was kind of fun until the Bigfoot showed up. And everybody kind of disappeared and left the food. And I'm pretty sure that Bigfoot had a feast, or its clan had a feast. That's why they show up. They know that we eat food just like they do. They can eat the same thing we do. They eat cows, they eat deer. I mean, if you're fixing that stuff on a grill and they smell it, they may come in and say, "Hi, y'all need to go. I'm hungry," and scare the daylights out of you and make your wife drag you kicking and screaming to the car because you want to see the Bigfoot. Most women don't want to see a Bigfoot. So it happens. Yes, they do come to food that we cook out on a grill. You got any other questions, Mrs. Bear? I'm talking about
No,
you.
me? Have they ever tried to drive a vehicle or like a big bulldozer
I
or
don't.
something?
I know. Most
Probably
of the
not.
time when they interact with those pieces of equipment,
They
or
flip them over, don't they?
they either try to shove them over a hill, or they don't. Cars make too much noise. Most diesel engines make too much noise for a Bigfoot. It inhibits their hearing.
I've got a question. Those piles of rocks stacked up like in like a pyramid shape.
It's a marker.
Okay.
Uh, it's a marker to the Bigfoot. I have never figured out that one, but I know it's a marker. I've seen too many of them in the woods. It's some type of marker that represents something to them, whether it's a religious thing that they do. Uh, so yeah, um,
Do you think that bacon and spam are good for drawing them in?
it's food. Period. Bigfoot eat. You ever seen one eat?
That was from Prospecting USA.
Well, Prospecting USA, anything that we eat, they can eat. Even processed food, even something from McDonald's, they can eat it. French fries, hamburgers, hot dogs, steaks, fish. They can eat all that stuff raw, or they can eat it cooked. It doesn't bother them. They have, pretty much the same intestines and stomach that we do. They can, it, it just, it's just food. Any food will attract Bigfoot if you're cooking it. What's the next question?
Okay, Barry Browning asks, do you believe as they rotate locations that they sometimes cross into other troops' areas?
Yes. But when they cross into other troops' areas, there's already going to be a truce in effect, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to get into a fight over that. The big male will go and call the other big male, and they'll have a powwow and say, we're moving to this area. It's not going to interfere with you. We're just passing through. Uh, and they have a way of notifying the other troop that they're coming through at a certain time. And it's an agreement to not get a reaction. It's not a trespass. It's okay, you can come across my property, but you can't stay. It's not a trespass. It's when they trespass on other one's lands, that's when you get the fights, and that's when you get shoving matches, and you get screaming at each other, and all kinds of stuff goes on. The whole troops get involved. What's the other one? The other part of this question.
Could some of the sign be directed to other troops and where they have permission to trespass, so to speak?
Well, yeah, there's places that overlapped. Um, if an area has a lot of deer and a lot of food in it, there's other troops going to be there, and yes, they're going to put up signs saying you can come across here to go, but don't stay on this. They put those markers up, and some of the structures that everybody is always asking about, triangles and that stuff is a warning, but it's also a path they can take to cross other Bigfoot clans when they overlap areas. Scorched honey. It's sweet. It's food. The young ones like it the most. The females, they like honey. Um, they are more prone to go into a beehive that's in a tree and get the honey out. They like it because it's sweet, and the young ones love sweets. Leave a Snickers bar or a Milky Way or something that has a sweet smell to it uh, in the woods. You go back to find it, you won't find it. Bigfoot have eaten it, or another animal has eaten it.
Bears, wrappers and all.
Yeah, we'll talk about that some other time.
Okay.
Something else?
Do they can make fire, right? Do they know how to
There's
make?
clans of Bigfoot that know how to make fire.
Okay.
I mean, the American Indian taught them long time ago, 200 plus years ago, how to do fire. Certain clans they traded with. They traded information. They traded furs. They traded uh, blankets that the Indians made. They traded everything with certain clans that were respected. So yes, there's Bigfoot out there that can make fire.
Do they cook over it?
I'm sure they do, especially in the wintertime.
Okay.
I mean, you go deep inside of a cave or where a clan of Bigfoot are, the temperature's higher because their body temperature's higher, but they also need something to stay warm, uh, especially the young ones. The young ones can't regulate their temperature as well as a full grown male or female. So they have to build fire.
Okay. Barry asked, do you think they leave individuals in their home locations they're not in to keep an eye out, to keep an eye on things, so to speak?
The clan, uh, a clan of, let's say, 6 Bigfoot, um, they don't have the manpower to do that. But the male Bigfoot that's in the clan, whether it's 6, 8, 10, 12, they will go into the old area where they were staying the previous, say, spring. Um, and they will travel in that area looking for game or food or anything. Um, Even the female Bigfoot will go back in there because it's still part of their area. It's still part of their home range. Uh, Deer move around. Bigfoot move around. So in order to get food, that's what they'll do. They'll go to different areas, parts of their home range, and do what they want. Any other questions?
I'm still thinking on them.
You mean you don't have any more?
I've already given you all one.
Huh. Well, um, so I want to elaborate on one thing before we go any further. The things that I've said tonight are for your benefit, not mine. I've already been through all this. Um, I've been screamed at. I've been had freaking boulders thrown at me. I've had trees thrown at me. I've had trees pushed down almost on top of me. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because I don't want somebody to come on here one time, me doing a live or putting a comment, well, this person didn't come back. And the reason I'm telling you all this is simply because when it comes to Bigfoot, they have a verbal language like we do. And then they have a different language that is through screams, grunts, growls, whoops, um, tree knocks, rock clacks, all that stuff has a meaning. And the best thing when it comes to doing Bigfoot research, or you're going out looking to see if Bigfoot are in an area, don't challenge the big male. That's a major no-no. I did that, and I always ended up having to deal with the situation. I'd rather see you guys that are out there doing the investigations nowadays to understand. Don't challenge them. If you make a challenge, you better be ready for war. That's the way they come. If it's a challenge to the male Bigfoot, it's a challenge that they're going to answer. They're not afraid of anything on this planet. They're not afraid of any human. They're not afraid of other Bigfoot unless they run into clans of Bigfoot that eat their own kind. Then they will run. But they will come and look and see who's there. Um, and it's not about counting coup on you. Counting coup on you is simple. It's a test of their ability to come in, get close to you, and either touch you or poke you with a stick. It's not about that. If you make a challenge, they come to destroy, they come to terrorize. They will not just walk you out of the woods, they will run you out of the woods. They will push trees down on you. They will try to harm you. So don't make challenges that you can't do. Um, and the video I was watching earlier today, I'm not going to say the name of the video or what channel it was from. For the simple fact is, these people didn't know. But they made a challenge. They made a scream that was, as my wife puts it, the constipated hillbilly. It is a outright challenge. It is you cussing those Bigfoot and telling them that they're the lowest scum on the earth. You make that type of challenge, that brings the clan. That don't bring one. That brings a clan. The big male comes to kick your butt and the others come to watch. And if someone else intercedes or gets into the fight, they come to rip that one apart. So don't challenge them. Say what? Say, hey, I'm over here, or say something. It, don't do something aggressive, is what I'm telling you. If you get aggressive with Bigfoot and they answer that challenge, you're in a world of hurt. I've been there. I got a tree pushed over on me, knocked me off a bank, 10 feet off a bank into a huge red clay mud hole. That was fun, especially when it was 30 degrees out at night and I still had 100 yards to go to my truck. I was kind of cold. Um, they let me off lightly. And the Yahoo are not a different type of big. They're not a different type. They're part of the type that I would consider to be the type twos, which are the Cro-Magnon type. They don't want to interact with humans. They're aggressive. They don't want anything to do with you. I remember seeing the question earlier, and I'm sorry I didn't address it at that point. But the Cro-Magnon type is not ones that you want to play games with. They get aggressive quickly. They answer challenges very quickly, which I challenged them, and they were there within a minute and a half. And it was a long, cold walk. That 100 yards was a long, cold walk, walking backwards to with the lights that I had on to watch my backside. So don't challenge Bigfoot unless, even if you think you are the baddest one on this planet, don't challenge a Bigfoot because they're worse. And that's the reason I did this live tonight, was to give you some insight, hopefully some insight on what you're doing when you go out Bigfooting. If you do tree knocks, be mindful of what you're doing. Think like them and think about what this might mean to this clan. Every clan has a different priority on different things. They're just like human beings. They think like we do. They can think the same level that we can. So be careful when you're out there. I beg of each and every one of you that goes out looking for them, and think, okay, say, hey, instead of saying you're a piece of trash. And if you say a piece of trash, they're going to come and they're going to be upset. And I don't want anyone to get harmed. I made the mistakes. Take my mistakes and learn from them. I've always done the aggressive howls, uh, and sometimes it's got me in trouble, big time, in trouble, running me out, pushing a tree over on me, surrounding me. Uh, and it's not a good feeling. It's scary, especially at night. So take what I've given you tonight, and I hope you put it into uh, your repertoire of Bigfoot sounds and calls and what you do in the woods when you're trying to find Bigfoot, and be mindful of what you're saying. Think about it before you do it, is basically what I'm saying. Are the woods a threat to us? Yes. There are too many cryptids in the woods all over the United States of America, whether it's woods or canyons in the Southwest, desert areas, all these creatures are a threat. And whoop is not a threat, it is a question. Whoops, if they start doing a bunch of whoops, it's an alarm. They're alarming the other Bigfoot, and it's usually the females that'll sound the alarm because they are everywhere. They don't. They're super great at not being seen. How many people have you ever heard of seeing a female? I've only seen three. The rest of them have been males. Uh, Whoops are an alarm, and the females do it quite a bit. And they'll say, "Hey, I'm over here," or "Hey, I'm in trouble," and that brings the males. So, guys, I have another show that I'm going to go to. I've been asked to do one on the 16th of this month, and then I have to reschedule one because I was out of town last weekend. And as soon as the schedule's fixed on that, I'll put it on my channel and let you guys know about it, and that way you can come and watch and hopefully learn a little more. Uh, I don't know everything about Bigfoot, and I don't profess to know everything about Bigfoot, but what I do know is don't trust them, and be mindful of what you do. Ask questions. Don't make statements, is what I'm saying. So we're going to end this live. Is that good for you, Mrs. Bear?
Yes. We're glad y'all came. We appreciate you guys. Love y'all.
Yeah, Johnny, there's a bunch of different cryptids in the Smokies. There's ones down there that I don't even want to mess with, even if I had a M1A1 Abrams or even the M1A2. With everything, I wouldn't want to mess with them. Uh, but those cryptids are across the U.S. too. So each and every one of you, we hope you have a blessed night. And if you got questions, you can send it to my email, which is oldbearsden2019 at gmail.com. I check my email once a day, and I try to answer any questions that come in. Or if you got an account, send it to me or send me some way to get in contact with you. Um, and we'll have a talk. I'll call you. So I hope you all enjoy it, and I hope you have a blessed night. And just because that tree's behind us, we ask that you remember that that's not the reason for this coming holiday. And we hope that each and every one of you take some time and go to church. And we hope and pray that you get saved. Uh, that time is coming. I hate to say it, but it's coming. So, with my beautiful wife, we're going to say good night.
Good night.
And stay blessed, everybody.
And Merry Christmas if we don't get to talk to you before.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.